Welcome back to the Twisted Lens for a new season. You know, in a word, the Hockey Canada situation is impossible. Impossible for the old board of directors to have continued, and nearly impossible for the new board to regain the trust of the citizens, the sponsors, and the players. But perhaps not for the reasons you think. Now, some people behave badly and always have. And sadly, we used to tolerate much more than we do today. And yet, should all bad behavior be painted with the same brush? We may have to twist the lens and look at Hockey Canada and other major sporting bodies in a new and very uncomfortable way. Now, in case you missed it, Hockey Canada has a secret fund to be used with discretion to settle so-called minor issues that need not involve the courts or the insurance companies. Now, bear in mind that Hockey Canada represents amateur players, so this may seem strange. And of course, by whose standard of discretion would these settlements be made? Well, as it turns out, some of these issues were not so minor and would be sexual in nature, sometimes violent, and sometimes both. Well, the secret fund isn't secret anymore, and neither is the fact that registration money for minor hockey and sponsorship was directed towards this account, to the mortification of many people. Also no longer a secret, the NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and others have similar funds to be used in similar ways, which leads to the multi-million-dollar question. Why? Why do we have funds to protect elite athletes, even amateurs, who already lead lives of privilege and shouldn't be above the law? Well, it's complicated, uncomfortable, and very divisive. Like people behaving badly, cover-ups disguised as discretion are not new. And yet, discretion can be a powerful and useful tool. Let's imagine my son steals a chocolate bar from the store when he's 12 years old. By the letter of the law, he should be charged and convicted, and that transgression could follow him the rest of his life, including travel bans, restrictions on education, employment, and the like. Now, very few parents would argue that a little discretion, it's a teaching moment, and some sort of minor reparations like working a few Saturdays at the convenience store wouldn't be a much better solution, even though theft is theft. And I recognize that while stealing a chocolate bar is a long way from sexual assault, there are also many shades in between that require thoughtful analysis and difficult decisions. Consider, for example, that cell phones with cameras are already in dressing rooms, and the inappropriate pictures that result are rampant. Now, most often it's just kids being kids, but not always. Hockey Canada is faced with these kinds of issues all the time. And how about Austin Matthews and Patrick Kane using very poor judgment by stiffing a cab driver for a few bucks that grew into a national sensation? Now true, they should know better. And it blew up because they were famous. Now both players were publicly embarrassed. The matter was settled out of court with a little discretion and the charges dropped. Now, it's true that most athletes get some training on how to handle fame and fortune, but the fact is mistakes, misunderstandings, and sometimes just poor decisions are the results of instant wealth, celebrity status, social media, etc. So here are two views. Athletes, celebrities, politicians, etc. should not be above the law and have a fund to make things go away that regular people have no access to. An opposing view? The current legal system does not go far enough to protect this same group from predatory behavior, nor does it protect their privacy. Princess Diana comes to mind. And without some way to settle unfounded accusation and constant harassment, groups like Hockey Canada would be bogged down in endless legal action. So let's simplify our choices, and here's a hint. You only get to pick one. If you believe in discretion at any level, then you believe in the fund at some level, because the fund is the practical outcome of discretion. And if you believe in the letter of the law and no discretion, then be prepared to live with those consequences. Not easy in real life. Back to the chocolate bar in the dressing room. So what to do? If we want to give the new board of Hockey Canada any chance of success, we have to recognize a few uncomfortable truths. Zero tolerance has never meant zero. Discretion depends on context, making consensus very difficult. And I think most importantly, the incoming board needs clear guidelines from fans, players, and sponsors up front, not just criticism after the fact. You know, on a very personal level, as a parent and a fan, I wish the incoming board the strength and the courage to not destroy young lives where appropriate, and to punish with vigor when warranted. I don't envy their job, and I thank them for working under such an intense spotlight. You know, societies evolve and improve in the crucibles of crisis. So let's use these lessons to emerge bigger and better, because we owe it to both the victims and the accused to be fair and balanced and rigorous. It's just the Canadian way.